Hello and welcome to another episode of Hogs Happy Hour, which we might need to change the name to just Hogs Hour because there's not much football wise to be happy about right now. All right, I'm Blake. I'm your co-host, as always, joined by Ashton. Ashton, how's it going?
Another day in paradise. We have a lot of things to talk about today. A lot of things that Hog fans have a lot of questions about, and hopefully we'll address some of those issues and topics today.
Yeah, we got a kind of packed show today. We got to talk about football. We got a little bit of basketball to talk about, some recruiting news, SEC news, college football news. So it's gonna be a packed show. We're gonna start off with the probably the most disappointing game I've witnessed Arkansas play in the Pittman era. Um, um, just it felt like Texas A&M had 15 guys out on the field on defense at all times. Lost a game 34-22, and I don't even think it was that close. Good thing our defense had a touchdown. If not, it would have been even uglier. So, what are your thoughts on this game?
Um, I think my thoughts are the same as I won't say all Hog fans. I think at this point you're looking at a large majority of Hog fans who are extremely I think they're reluctant at this point to put any type of faith in the Razorbacks as far as assuming we can go win a football game, right? I think you and I both assumed Arkansas, after the way they played against LSU, could go into Arlington and play at Jerry's World, and just by all indications, this Arkansas team was primed and they were poised, they were ready to go win. Finally, right? We beat them once in 11, 12, 11 times, I believe. It looked like all things were trending upwards for the Razorbacks, but we just fell flat on our faces. And so it's a disappointment. Where do we go from here? I feel like we have this conversation every year. And another thing is maybe this is a fault of my own. Maybe Razorback fans do this quite a bit. After we win against an FCS opponent, it's almost like after we watch that FCS game, every Hog fan's like, oh, I think we can win 8 conference games this year. And maybe I just need to stop fooling myself. I just ever since that 9-win season from Coach Pittman, all I've seen is mediocrity at best.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of that year we won all the trophy games. It's like a lot of people are saying that's going to be the peak of Sam Pittman. Where we beat Texas A&M, Missouri, and LSU, and he's sitting like he's on a throne. So I feel like that picture is going to be the peak of his head coaching career at Arkansas. All right, going over some stats first from this game. We'll start with defense. Chris Pupal led the team with 9 tackles. The defense had 2 fumble recoveries, 0 sacks, but we are tied for first in the entire nation with 3 defensive touchdowns. We're ranked 47th overall in total defense, 35th rush defense, and 65th in passing yards allowed. The defense showed up. I think. We did give up some drives, but it's good to see at the very end of the game when Texas A&M tried to score and we stopped them on fourth down and there was no time left. So it was
Yeah,
good to see that they had a little pride. Offense not so much, but
right.
and if I would have told you defense had 2 fumble recoveries, we had a pick six, they had a couple missed field goals. You probably would have thought we would have won by 21.
Yeah. You go look at numbers. I would think across the board, and I know this isn't like it's not a formula for 100% success rate, but like if you go look at any game and you just look at stats. So let's just ignore the first half. But if you look at second half stats and you saw a defense that only allowed 3 points in the entire second half, you would probably assume that that team won the game. I mean, is that fair? I don't know. But if you look at the stats in the second half, Arkansas defensively absolutely dominated A&M, and I almost felt like at that, I felt like at one point that maybe Arkansas defense was almost fed up with the offense and just was almost going to let A&M score there on the goal line, just kind of prove a point. But no, instead they proved a point the other way that we're actually not going to just lay over and let you get in this. That was I mean it was a pride moment, and then the poor I can't blame the special teams. The field goal kicking was phenomenal. The punting was good. Yes, did Fletcher out kick his coverage
Yeah.
once or twice? Yeah, he did. But like the guy had an opportunity. Anais Smith had the opportunity to drop the football, turn around, and then go recover it, get his wits about him, go score. Basically, almost untouched. And you're asking you cannot continuously ask from an offensive standpoint your defense and your special teams to play flawless every single game because you're just unable to do the job consistently. I mean, did the defense let us down in the second half against LSU? Yes. But then again, LSU's defense let them down. So I get struggle to point fingers. The defense played really good for a full half against LSU. Well, guess what? The offense didn't play very good in the first half against LSU. It was defense. So I think consistently across the board, you're looking at a defense that has been majorly improved. Uh, it's aggressive. Does that aggressiveness get us beat sometimes? Yes, we play a lot of man-to-man coverage against receivers who are generally better than our defensive backs. But look at the numbers. We're in the top 50 defensively. So
Yep. Yeah, I don't. Defense. The defense plays well enough every game so far that you have a chance to win, and that's pretty much all you want. College football offenses are going to put up numbers, and you just want your defense to get a couple stops, couple turnovers. But our defense is playing well enough to win ball games. It's just our offense, which we're going to transition to the offense. Field goal Dan. All right, so I'm gonna go over the stats. It's pretty depressing. All right, KJ was 9 of 17, 132 yards passing, -3 yards rushing. Rocket Sanders was the leading rusher with 34 yards on 11 attempts, and as a team, we had 42 yards rushing. Andrew Armstrong led the receivers with 3 catches and 1 touchdown, which a lot of it came toward the end of the game on that long pass. Rocket had 2 catches for 36 yards, and our third leading receiver was our tight end, Luke Haas, who, caught the ball and is out for season. So we had 174 yards of total offense. Now here's the thing. I went back and I looked at the drive charts. KJ completed that long screen pass to Rocket with 2:30 left in the first. All right, Ashton, when was his next completed pass? Just
that was
take
in
a
the
guess.
first quarter.
First quarter
I'm
with
gonna
2:30
say that
left.
it was probably I'm gonna say the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was 122 left in the third.
Wow.
So pretty much 2 full quarters of not completing a forward pass or any pass of any kind. So
Um, I didn't even think about this. When is the last time? And I didn't do my research. I probably should have. When's the last time an Arkansas Razorback football team was held under a total of 50 rushing yards in a football game?
um, we're in the SEC. We're kind of regarded as running back U, and it's probably been a while.
It blows my mind. I'm sorry, I can't help but crack up at this. It blows my mind that our second leading rusher against Texas A&M was AJ Green, who had 1 carry for 5 yards. That's, I mean, I'm sorry. I almost feel like I wish I had Dan sitting here next to me. That's almost laughable. But then
Hey,
your third leading receiver was your
you could
tight
email
end
it.
who was injured on the first play of the game and didn't play the rest of the game, and he's your third leading receiver.
Yep.
It's laughable, man.
Yep.
Um, golly, I can't help but feel for our defense, man. Our defense played so hard, so hard. I
Yep.
thought they played pretty good. Did Texas A&M come out hot out of the box, right out of the chute, just throwing the ball around? Yeah, they did.
Yep.
But we were very much like a bend don't break.
Yep.
But
Yep.
um, I think every Arkansas fan, whether they want to admit it or not, actually, I'm sorry, maybe not every fan. Again, we're talking 90%. I think 90% of fans wanted Sam Pittman because of just how stagnant our offense is to go for it on that fourth down, on fourth and
Yep.
one. Yeah, was it a terrible decision? Yes. Was it not a bad place on the field to go for it? Yeah. But I don't think any Arkansas fan who wanted him to go for it imagined we would do yet again a draw right up the middle from the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we doing?
Yep. I mean,
What
I
are we
mean
doing?
the punt we got off was pretty good. I mean, I think we were going to put A&M around the 30,
And
maybe
and if I'm
25
being
yard
honest, they
line.
probably wouldn't have scored.
Yeah.
We had them locked down. Did they score there
Yeah.
at the end? Yeah, but man, you just gave them a gift.
Yeah.
You had to go 30 yards. It's not like the Arkansas defense just broke. I mean, we're talking. That's a 30-yard drive.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do much of
Yeah.
anything. That's just a couple 15-yard
Yeah.
passes.
Just because it's 4th and 1, Arkansas fans, we do not have to go for it every time. Okay, we can pin them somewhat deep and let them drive the field, because we know we cannot get a fourth and 1 to save our life, especially with Dan Enos calling plays. Here's some more stats, some numbers. We have allowed 17 sacks this year so far. That's good enough for 117th in the nation out of 130 teams. We are ranked 102nd in penalties per game, and that's with having 0 last game.
Man,
And passing offense is ranked 92nd. Do you want to know where Arkansas State is ranked
in passing,
in passing? We're 92nd in the whole nation.
I'm gonna say Arkansas State is 85th.
They're just one spot ahead at 91, but it just goes to show you that we're not statistically we are not getting things done on the offensive side.
And
Our rushing offense,
that's with an Arkansas State team that just got absolutely
yeah,
obliterated by
yeah,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma 73-0, and rushing offense is ranked 97th. So that brings, I think we're ranked, what was it, 101st in total offense in the entire nation, which is last in the SEC.
Man, it almost
Yeah.
almost breaks your heart a little bit. But I'm gonna tell you, if you're looking for, I'm telling you, if you're looking for a team that is very good at driving the field and not finishing a drive, or you're looking for a team who from one half to the next can't move the ball 10 yards, hey man, we got your guy.
Yeah.
We got your guy. And speaking of our guy, Field Goal Dan, apparently Field Goal Dan, when things aren't going so well, has all the time in the world to get on his computer or phone or whatever and send emails back and forth to fans who are questioning his play calling abilities. I especially like the meme out there of the quarterback sneak taken directly from Madden football, showing Coach Enos how to run a sneak under center, and it doesn't look any better when your coaching staff is asked questions about do we not know how to sneak it and they basically say things along the lines of well we're not comfortable or whatever, and then you turn around and ask your starting quarterback, hey, do y'all not do this? He goes, yeah man, we practice this all the time.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't look good. In my opinion, Blake, Dan Enos is absolutely, and I'm not saying KJ Jefferson is the greatest quarterback to have ever lived. I don't think he's the greatest. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the SEC. But Dan Enos has absolutely ruined this kid.
Yeah.
His
He
his,
had
his
a
draft chances,
yeah.
in my opinion, I wouldn't take the kid.
No.
What has he shown you this year?
Mm-mm. I mean, he might. I mean, he might switch to tight end if he wants to play football in the pros, but
We're talking about a guy who was a dark horse candidate. Him and Rocket Sanders, dark horse candidates for. We talked about this the other day for the Heisman. These guys' names wouldn't come up in a Heisman conversation any point this year.
Nope, not even.
That's
Not even.
just that's man that's heartbreaking.
Yep. Yep. And going back to the Dan Eno situation, if those that don't know, a student emailed him after the game, and I sent it to Ashton earlier in the week, and he's like, "Nah, that's got to be fake," and I kind of believed it was fake, but I think it was Hog Sports did a freedom a FOIA. Um, so it turned out to actually be true, and that kind of came out today, just a couple hours ago, that it actually was Daniel Enos emailing back, so I mean it was right after the game. I mean, hey, they're probably eating whatever they eat after the game, emailing students back. All right, so changes. There's gonna be some changes to the offense. Um, so Limmer is gonna go to guard, Latham to tackle, Kudus to center. That's on the offensive line, and practice reports have said Dominique Johnson is getting some reps at tight end. So, so is this a good change, or are we just kind of rearranging the chairs to the Titanic?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm gonna tell you, brother. I feel like I hope I'm wrong. I hope anybody who watches this who doesn't just think this is a bash on Arkansas coaching staff right now. Naturally, what do I want? I want Arkansas to be successful. Do I want Dan Enos to go out there and do I want them to score 100 points against Ole Miss? Absolutely. Um, but I think we are gasping for air, if you will. We've seen Brady Latham at left tackle against BYU in Fayetteville with the
Yep.
crowd on our side, and the guy just got absolutely torched
Yep.
at left tackle.
Yep.
Uh, is the position the problem? I don't know.
I
I
don't
hope
think.
so.
I think moving Limmer back to guard is good. I
Yeah.
think he got. I think he was all SEC at guard.
I'm worried about more about Josh Braun at this
Mhm.
point. Josh Braun consistently go back and watch the film. Guys crossed his face all night, and any coach who or anybody who knows enough about coaching the offensive line, and I'm not a genius or a guru by any means, but what is the one thing they tell you? Don't let the guy cross your face. And they crossed his face all afternoon and were in the backfield. Just got beat consistently off the line of scrimmage. And what did that lead to, Blake? How many sacks did it eventually
Um,
lead to?
I don't have that down, but two. I think it was seven, maybe
7?
6, 7, somewhere around there. Too
Just,
many, and it
yeah.
could have been more if KJ didn't get a yard running.
So,
I mean,
anyways, field goal Dan, the offense is going to have to step it up.
yeah,
Uh, we're dead last in the SEC.
yeah. That means Vanderbilt's better than us. Mississippi State.
And we haven't. It's not like we've played Alabama or Georgia.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
we
it
just
just
haven't.
goes to prove that if you don't have a good offensive line, it don't matter who you got out there. Because KJ. I mean, yes, we wanted to go deep, but by the time KJ got set, he was having to run. And some of the snaps were not there. He had to worry about catching the snap first. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, at least they are making changes. We'll give them that, but we'll see. All right. So the state of Razorback football. Trying to combine both of them. So if we were, let's go back. Let's say we beat BYU, is, do you think Arkansas fans would be as mad as they are now?
Uh, I don't think so. I don't think I think Razorback fans, realistically speaking, expected to go 3-0 to start the season, and then really, honestly, it would have been a like a cherry on top if Arkansas finds a way to win 2 of the next 4. But Arkansas fans would have been happy, would have been thrilled to death to just win 1 of the next 4 games.
Yeah,
because I mean there are very few teams going into LSU, going into Oxford, going going to Arlington, playing against a very talented Texas A&M defensive line, or a team going into down to Alabama and winning on the road in Tuscaloosa. So winning one of the next four would have been what most Razorback fans would have wanted.
yeah,
But we're in a situation where we desperately need a win, whether it be this weekend or the next weekend. You just I hate to. We're 2-3 right now. If you look up in 2 weeks and we're 2-5, that's a tough hill to climb
yeah.
to make a bowl game.
Yeah, and it's going to be, curious to see what that stadium might look like against Mississippi State. Um, you know, might not be full for any recruits.
Well, the state of Arkansas football is it's hanging by a thread right now
Mm,
for most fans. You
yeah,
you I think everybody loves I think everybody loves Pittman. They think he's a great guy. They think that he's good for the brand of Fayetteville because I think he's all hog.
yeah,
But if you're paying a guy over $6 million a year, which puts him at 22nd, I think overall in the entire nation, and you go look at the top 25 highest paid coaches in the country, the majority of them, and I know only four teams go to the national or go to the playoffs every year, but the majority of those guys are top 25 programs. They're not necessarily winning national championships, but they're in the top 25. The
yeah.
only one that I saw really that is making that much money but is struggling this year was Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. But look where his starting quarterback is. He's the backup to the team we're playing this weekend,
Which that
Spencer
was the
Sanders.
strangest transfer. And I'm like, why would he go to Ole Miss?
I don't know, because he was dominating at Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
so Mike Gundy and them are struggling this year.
hmm
But overall, look at the past 10 years. How good has Mike Gundy been?
yeah.
Really good.
Consistently, yeah,
Right.
yeah. We got a
So
comment here uh from my brother. I guess he's listening in. So snaps have been bad all season, and I would have to agree. Moving Kudus to center, I hope it's good. But here's the thing about Kudus: he's a sophomore, but he's younger than some of the freshmen. He's a young. I think he's maybe 19 now, but
but he's a
he's
big kid. I think he's six
yeah.
foot five,
hmm
300 something pounds. I mean, well, I think we got guys that are big, guys that fit the mold of SEC linemen,
Yep.
but it's just not things aren't working out or haven't worked all
Yeah.
season. The snap, like you said, the snaps have been bad. So we
Yep.
need we need better production right off the bat. As soon as the ball's snapped, if KJ doesn't know where it's going, he's running for his life. That's just not good.
Yep. So, all right. So going on to the preview. Okay, Arkansas at number 16 ranked Ole Miss. Games at 6:30 or 6, one of those on SEC Network. They are 4-1 overall, 1-1 in conference. They beat Mercer 73-7, beat Tulane 37-20, beat Georgia Tech 48-23, lost to Alabama 24-10, and beat LSU 55-49. Offense is led by Jackson Dart. He has completed 91 passes for 142, or completed 91 passes for 1,485 yards, 64.1 completion percentage, 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So now I will note we did beat them last year um, in Fayetteville. It was a mollywop, as you want to say. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to make it kind of close, but Ole Miss and Arkansas, it's kind of like Texas A&M. It's going to be something crazy happens, or it's always going to be a close game. Think back to the Hunter Heave 4th and 25 a couple years ago with Alex Collins. So it's always an exciting game, but I don't. We'll see what happens this year. So what's your thoughts on Ole Miss?
I think we got a high-powered offense. I think the defense is where they are the weakest. I feel like defensively, The way they gave up points to LSU, they're I've almost feel like they're very similar to us. I feel like they should be able to score points, like, and we should be able to score points. I feel like our defense will struggle and their defense will struggle.
Yep.
And you almost wish, as a Razorback fan, we could find a way to just like bring it all together, where the defense works and the offense works instead of one or the other working. And so I personally think that Jackson Dart coming over from USC a few years ago, he's thrived under this system. It's high. I mean, it's fast tempo. They're going to snap the ball. They're going to get up and go. And not only that, Jackson Dart's a dual threat. This guy's run for 250 yards, has 4 touchdowns on the ground. So we're talking about 15 touchdowns overall this year, and just two, I think, just 2 turnovers and the
Yeah,
interceptions.
he's the fifth leading. Hold on, yeah. No, that's Judkins. Judkins the fifth leading rusher in the SEC.
Yeah,
But
and that's with Judkins not starting out the season very well.
yeah,
And I said this earlier in the year to you, or maybe a week or so ago. If you told me, we were talking about previewing this game. If you told me that Raheem Sanders had less than 100 rushing yards to start or to coming into Game 6 of the season, I'd say Arkansas hadn't won a game.
yeah, and he had,
But we
you
have
know,
won two.
Rocket had 232 yards against them last year. It's I mean he's capable of doing it. Uh, I'm not saying he's going to have it this game. I'm just saying he's capable of putting up more than 100 yards going into Game 6, even with being out. What? How many? He was out 2 games, 3 games. Um, he should have had at least 100 against one of those first two opponents.
All right, I agree.
Uh, all right,
Yeah,
their
I
defense.
just yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying their defense has 17 sacks on the season. Perkins, their linebacker, has 3. Safety Trey Washington leads the team in tackles. Defense will give up some yards and will give up some points. They're um, kind of compare them to our defense last year, um, where at sometimes they'll play pretty good defense, and then sometimes you can just throw it over the top on them or just run, get 8 yards of carry on them. So that their defense reminds me of Arkansas's defense from last year.
Oh yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Their defense is very similar to what ours was last year, which is why I think if you look at it on paper, I literally if you forget all the stats, right, and you look at this game on paper coming into the season, this is a even matchup if you ask me.
Yep.
If you just forget stats,
Yeah. And,
and I personally I do not have Arkansas winning this game. I have Arkansas probably. I'd say one of two things is going to happen in this game. I don't know if this is part of the prediction or not. We probably already
we
have the
can,
prediction.
yeah, we can roll on with that.
Yeah, let's go to okay. So the
Yeah.
prediction. I think this is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a shootout, all right, and I think it'll be like a 45-42 shootout. Ole Miss wins, or Ole Miss comes out and just absolutely destroys what little sliver of hope Arkansas fans had and just throttles us
Yeah.
in their home stadium. Uh, and I would say like a 38-10 game. You
So
know,
which way are you leaning toward on this Thursday night?
I'm gonna say 45-42 Ole Miss.
Okay. So they do cover, huh? Because Vegas got, I think it was 10.5. Now it's 11.5. Some places have it as 12. Ole Miss has a 12-point favorite, so it between 10 and 12 is what Vegas sees, and the predictions kind of match that up. So Ole Miss defense is ranked 104th overall in total defense, 79th in rushing defense, 112th in passing defense. So if there's ever um, a game where you can get your offense going right, it is this game. And Rocket had plenty of yards against them last week or last year. And Ashton, Give me the
Shut up.
Hogs.
No
Arkansas
way.
42, Ole Miss 38. Like you said on paper, not if you bring someone in that's not an Arkansas fan and you look at it on paper, I mean, it's kind of like you said, it's kind of a toss up. Not no,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's KJ's last time playing Ole Miss. He was not highly recruited by them. He's from Sardis, Mississippi. He wants to. He wants to beat them one more time. He's gonna have a huge chip on his shoulder. Rocket second game back. He's gonna. He's gonna be better. We're making changes on the offensive line. I mean, Ole Miss can't stop anything.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you where I'm at, and well, I don't disagree with you. I don't. I
Yeah,
really don't.
yeah,
This is. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is what I think is gonna happen. I think this if Arkansas does win, this is gonna be like the fool's gold game. Okay.
oh yes, yes,
This
yes.
is this is my this if we win, this is fool's gold. I think this is Arkansas's last hurrah. I don't think we make a bowl game. That's a bold prediction. I don't think we make a bowl game.
Yeah, because
Although our schedule down the
yeah,
stretch is not strong at all,
yeah, yeah,
but I just don't see a team that has been consistent, man. And it's hard. I think most Razorback fans are sitting on their hands. You know what they're saying? Prove it to me.
yeah,
If you want me to think that you can win, prove it to me.
yeah,
Because last week, what did I do? I said, "Oh, that Arkansas, they're going to go into this game. They're going to win. They should take care of business." Now I'm at the point where I say, "Prove it to me, Arkansas. Prove to me that you can go win a big game."
yeah. Yeah, if they don't win, the only other game I'll pick them to win will be FIU because I'm just looking at the schedule. Let's
Did
say you lose.
FIU win last? See, FIU played last night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they won or not.
Because you go at Ole Miss, and then you go at Bama, and then you have Mississippi State at home, and then you go play a Florida team who is pretty good at Florida. Outside of Florida, they're not so great. So, and then you got Auburn, who hung around with the number one team in the nation. Then you have FIU, and then you have the Missouri Tigers. So, what we thought was an easy back half of the schedule has kind of turned into a not so easy back half.
Yeah.
And honestly, the front half might, looking at it, might be a little bit easier. Because Bama's kind of down, LSU's,
Yeah, and tell
A&M.
me this, man, as an Arkansas fan, the reason why this year has been so frustrating is because there's so much parity across the board in the SEC, and Arkansas has not been able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you know, for if we, if that one time Bama's not very good, and LSU's okay, and
I mean, let's be real. Alabama doesn't have AJ McCarron carrying the team. I mean, well, in the backfield, they don't have Derrick Henry back there. I
yeah,
mean, you know what I mean? They don't have Devontae Smith at wideout, John Mechie the third.
yeah,
They've got Jalen Milrow. I know who's not awful.
yeah,
He's good enough to win, but I mean, he's not Bryce Young.
yeah. He's not. He's gonna win. He's gonna win with you, but he's not gonna be the reason, that you
Right.
win. I will say just one of the other reasons I picked Arkansas. This is the third straight SEC game. They played Bama, then they played LSU. That's two very tough opponents. Maybe they're not getting up for Arkansas. And Lane Kiffin always drops one somewhere. So I'm drinking the Kool Aid. I'm reading the stats, and I'm like that. I think it's gonna be a close game. 3 points, maybe 4 points, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's say last night, the basketball team had the red and white scrimmage game, whatever you want to call it. And in Razorback fashion, we had a player get injured in pregame warmups in the
Yeah,
layup
Khalif.
line.
That's right. Khalif Battle, the transfer from Temple, went down on a layup, uh, And according to Coach Muss, good news is that Khalif Battle, who's supposed to be able to shoot the lights out, by the way, from three, he was and if you go across the board, I would think three or four of our transfers that came in were highly sought after transfers. Khalif Battle being one of them because the kid, apparently the kid can just flat out score. But Coach Muss said that he's going to be okay. I guess nothing serious,
Yeah,
but don't you know it as an Arkansas fan? Just we have an injury happen, you hold your breath, don't
yeah,
you? You just hold your breath. Oh no, not
yeah.
again.
And I hold my breath, even though Musk said he'll be okay. Remember last year he said Brazil would be okay, and he turns out he had a torn ACL. So
Yeah.
we'll,
Speaking of Brazil, Brazil didn't play
yeah,
in the red and white game. He's not quite yet to um,
yeah,
that point in his recovery, but things seem to be trending the right way for
yeah.
him to be ready for the basketball season.
Musk said he could have played 5 minutes if he wanted to, but it's a scrimmage, a red white game. You're not even playing someone else. So he said there's
And
no
man,
point.
it was a
Yeah,
good it was a good indication of what type of team we're going to be. On both sides, red and white, both teams could shoot the three ball, and Bayfall as a freshman, apparently he can shoot the rock a little bit for a big man, which is great. You like to have a guy who can do more than just play inside, and obviously he's going to have to beef up a little bit for the type of competition he's going to be facing. Jalen Graham had a good night. Jalen Graham, I'm gonna tell you something about Jalen Graham. He has the capability to put up 30 points, but he also has the capability to not sniff the rim or get
yeah.
anywhere near the
Yeah,
basket.
he's got to be consistent. I mean, he had 15 last night. The red team won 88-70. Pinion led the red team with 20 points, with 7 of 8 from the field, including 3 of 4 from three. Ellis had 16. Graham had 15. Davenport led the white team with 19 points, 6 of 10 from the field, including 5 of 8 from three. Now, as a team, as the red and white team, they shot 50% from the three. So
Pretty impressive.
either tells you our 3 point defense is not very good, or we might be able to shoot the ball.
Yeah. Um, I think it means a couple different things. You play each other. You're not near as competitive. It seems like you want to impress. So you're scoring. You want to score. You want to score, and it's almost like your defense. It's not. There's nothing on the line really if you think about it. So you're a little more lax, I think, with your defense. I think
Yeah,
that's anybody. When you have a scrimmage game, you're not as you're not as tough with your defense as you would be in a real game. So is our defense bad? I don't think so. Is our offense that good? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit of both,
yeah,
obviously. But I think we are. It sounds crazy for me to say, but I feel like we're an even more improved team this year than we were last year.
yeah. That's what um some people are saying. It's like you said. It sounds crazy that it's maybe a more talented team than last year. Um, I think it's got a lot of juniors and seniors that have transferred in, so it's a lot of guys that have played college ball. Or
Hmm.
last year we had some freshmen helping us out. They take on Division II Texas Tyler, the Patriots, Friday, October 20th at Bud Walton Arena in another scrimmage game.
Um,
They will play Purdue at some point for
yeah,
a kind of like a benefit game. So it'll be exciting to see how they look up against Purdue early in the season. As we know, Muss's teams improve throughout the year. So I tell Ashton this every year: do not get upset in January, because by mid-January he's like, "We suck. We're not going to make the tournament."
I'm a traditional pessimistic fan who wants to win every single game, and then if we don't win, the sky is falling. Wes had a comment there in the chat about Chandler Lawson, who is a transfer from the University of Memphis.
Yes, yes,
Chandler Lawson, actually, it's funny Wes brings that up. We did talk about Chandler Lawson last night,
yeah,
and we thought that Chandler Lawson could possibly be that next role player who's just known for being able to play some good defense. I don't think he's necessarily in my opinion, Wes, you may know a little bit better more than, or a little bit better than I do. I don't think Chandler Lawson is necessarily a scorer, and I don't think everybody needs to be a scorer. I think we need a guy, and I think Lawson's like 6'8", in that 6'8". I feel like everybody on our roster is 6'8",
Yeah.
but 6'8", seems to be able to jump out of the roof, and it'd be great for us to have like that Jimmy Witt type of role player again. I love Jimmy Witt.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The
Dude could play
COVID.
anywhere on the court, and he was 6'3".
Yeah. The COVID year. That was the COVID year, and we were decent. That was Moses' first year, I think. We were decent. Jimmy Witt, he would score 32 points a game without shooting a three. He would just
Right.
go to the rim and put it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of
So
Yeah,
yeah,
old
Chandler
school.
Chandler Lawson, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Chandler's got. Hey guys,
Oh,
by the way, I jumped in. By the way,
hey
sorry to miss
man.
you. Man, hey, by the way, anybody out there watching, and listening, if you want good, continuous Arkansas Razorback coverage, right here is where you're going to be. These guys are great. They give you a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? You get it's a nice medley of Razorback sports. But no, Chandler. To your point, Ashton. One thing that I do know, Chandler has worked on and he was working on it at Memphis, and he continued it when he came to Arkansas. Is his scoring, his ability to create his own shot, his ability to also be able to drive with effectiveness to both sides. When you look at him from a low post perspective, Chandler's got great footwork, really nice low post game. We were one of the first people to speak to him. As a matter of fact, when he came over to Memphis from Oregon, I got a little bit of a connection to his father as well. So Chandler's that entire family, man. If you look at that lineage of the Lawsons, that entire family's got talent to them, especially on the hardwood. But yeah, no, Chandler Lawson's going to be a really nice piece. Speaking of pieces, there's a piece on him at fourstar.live now, based on his performance from last night, as well as a little recap of the red white inter squad scrimmage, whatever you call it, uh, exhibition matchup, whatever, dunk fest. But no, Ashton, you're 100% right. Um, I think this could be potentially, you say it every year. You know what I mean? Oh, this is it. This is going to be the year, guys. You say it every year.
Mhm.
But in all seriousness, looking at this team on paper, looking at this team talent wise, looking at this team from a ceiling level, this could very well be maybe the best team Arkansas's had in a very long time.
Yeah. I agree, and I don't know if Chandler Lawson, if his ties, that last name is tied to Ty Lawson at all, who used to play for the University of North Carolina. Um, but it seems like anybody with the last name Lawson, basketball wise, seems to have a little bit of talent um, associated with their name. So him coming over from Memphis, and I almost equate him a little bit to Jalen Graham. I think Jalen Graham is very similar. They have very good footwork in the post. The next question is going to be, like you said, can Chandler Lawson create his own shot? And if he can, man, that just gives us another big man down low that could really help us take it to the next level. Because if Brazil's is healthy, man, he's a force. Makai Mitchell, if he's if he just does what he does, he's a role player himself. But yeah, Chandler Lawson would be great. I'm glad he chose the Razorbacks. And could this be Muss's best team? You almost say it like every year because he just reloads with talent. And that's with losing two first round draft picks and one second round draft pick um, in the draft this past year.
Yeah. Wes, I got a question. I'm always curious. What was his reason for transferring?
I mean, honestly, I think he just wanted a new environment. And I mean, with the transfer portal, with guys that go places or there a year or two, you're gonna see this more and more, and you're gonna see that as the reasoning why. And I mean, were there some other circumstances? I don't know. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna speak on it because I don't know.
Mhm.
But I mean, I do think that, especially in today's day and age of college athletics, a lot of times if you go back and look, that that new environment is going to work out a little bit better for the guy. And I mean, look, best of luck to Chandler. He's an incredible young man, very humble. He's got a smile that'll light the room up. And then he can get on a hardwood and flat go. But I mean, I think if you're Musselman, I mean, let's just be real, guys. You're not going to be as the kids used to say, slaw basketball player and play for the University of Arkansas now. It's not going to happen.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, you're spot on. Um, you had Kamani Johnson transfer from UALR not too long ago, and even in the moments that he did play, it was very limited play because of the talent that was around him. But Kamani Johnson had some big moments, and hopefully there's a lot of big moments in Chandler Lawson's future, and there's a lot of success for the rest of his career. So, yeah, appreciate the comments on that,
Yeah.
Wes, and the background on him. So I look forward to him having a great career as a Hog.
Yeah. While the transfer portal was active, Ashton and I, we were concerned about not having any big men because, the game against UConn, we just got dominated. But I think we're going to have some athletic big men. So maybe that's, he's got a team full of guards. So I think he wants to outrun everybody this year. So we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see.
It's very, very early. Arkansas fans, we like to, once football season starts going bad, we look forward to basketball. And then once basketball starts going bad, we look forward to baseball. So it's kind of a cycle. Um,
Yeah.
all right, some other Razorback news. Um, pull this up. All right, so our game, surprisingly, against Alabama is 11 o'clock a.m. on ESPN. I think you're going to see a lot of 11 o'clock kickoffs here in the next few weeks. Um, just because we're some people say we're not very good, so they put us in the morning instead of the 2:30 or the 6 o'clock time slot.
Yeah, either you're going to have a bad taste in your mouth for the rest of the day on Saturday, or you're going to spend the rest of the day going, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I expect a lot of 11 a.m. starts from here on out.
Yep. Thing that gets lost in the Texas A&M debacle is KJ Jefferson. He broke the record for touchdowns responsible for with 78, passing Matt Jones. So good for
Yeah,
him.
like I said, KJ, you don't just get to that many touchdowns by being just, okay. I'm not saying he's great by any means. I think he's a good SEC quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback in general. So, congrats to him. And I think those numbers are going to keep going up. It's going to be someone else's record to break in the future.
Yeah. And I will say about KJ, when I was in school, I always looked up to Matt Jones. That's because he was the quarterback for the Razorbacks. I teach middle school, and these kids look up to KJ. I mean, they look forward to watching him play on Saturday.
And in a
They
day
really
and
do.
age where it's easy to transfer,
Mhm.
go from one school to the next. KJ's been, I mean, not that there's necessarily anything wrong with transferring, but KJ has been a Hog since day one, and that's never changed.
Yep.
So props to him for
Yep.
that.
Even when Ole Miss finally wanted, they went after him. He said no because he was, he wanted to come to Arkansas.
Blake, you took the words out of my mouth
Mhm.
because it was a little close there for a
Yeah.
while as to whether KJ was going to remain a Hog. But to your point, Ashton, uh, in this day and age, to see a guy hang around for honestly more than 2 years is a blessing.
Yeah, man, it's special. It really is. It's special.
Yep. Yep. He now has the most total yards in program history, and that's obviously just going to keep going up because he got almost half a season to play, so he's going to be in the record books for a pretty long time. Going back to Ashton's point about the portal, you're not going to see too many guys stay this long to have these records.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we talked about volleyball last week, and now they have matched their highest ranking uh, at number 13, the highest since 1998. So We just want to give them a quick shout out to that.
All right, man, that's awesome. What about soccer? We had a soccer
Oh,
highlight last week. I don't know if we have one of those this week,
no,
but as far as the volleyball team goes, they swept LSU.
yeah,
So that's a big thing to do. You go sweep LSU, and then it looks like coming up this Sunday they've got Missouri. Um, in fact, they've got three series at home these next 3 weeks. They got Missouri, Ole Miss, and Alabama coming up the 8th, 13th, and the 15th. So I don't think they're on necessarily TV, maybe on ESPN Plus, but if you get an opportunity, watch them.
yeah,
Support the Lady Hogs if you
yeah,
get the chance to.
yeah. Support everything Razorbacks if you can. Also, I want to shout out to Ricky Council. He made the Sixers roster as a two-way player. You know, watching him last year, we thought he had NBA talent. So a two-way player means they can go back and forth to like their development league and to their main roster. Moses Moody did that for a while with Golden State. So it's kind of the new thing to do. It's kind of like baseball, kind of with the farm system, I guess. But
Yeah.
so
Um, just a quick thing. Um, Arkansas ladies soccer. I just want to make a real quick
yeah,
point. Blake, they're not in the top 25. They're
yeah.
in the top 10, my friend.
Oh,
The lady soccer team is number 7,
yeah,
and they show to be 8-2 and currently sitting at 4-0
yeah,
in conference. So big time
yeah,
for the Lady Hogs soccer team,
yeah.
sitting there at number 7 overall in the country.
And Ashton, I believe they've won like, oh, at Razorback Field, the number is, I'll have to dig it up, man, but the number is just insanely long as the games they've won. I want to say it's 40 something, 20 something. I think it's crept up to 24-1 at home now
Yeah,
since a couple years back. I mean, it's
Yeah.
at Arkansas, man. That team is incredible.
Yeah. And Wes can tell you this point. There's actually a pro soccer team, women's soccer league pro team that's coming to Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, men's and women's. It's US. It's the United Soccer League Arkansas. Um, hopefully, we'll be out covering them as well. So if you're a soccer fan and you want to, possibly talk a little soccer, reach out to us. We can get you in there to talk some soccer for sure. But yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be out in the Rogers area. If you are familiar with where that is, I'm sure most
Yeah.
people are that live up here. It's gonna be out in Rogers, kind of over by where the concert area is, by the Walmart amphitheater, or amp as the kids call it.
Yeah.
But
and
no, it's gonna be a lot of
yeah,
fun, man. It's gonna be high quality soccer being played up here in Northwest Arkansas.
it looks like Coach Hale, Kobe Hale, the head coach of the
Mhm.
women's soccer team, has had double-digit wins going all the way back to even 2016. So since 2016, he's not had a single season that the Lady Razorback soccer team has not won double digits. And they played in front of, and Blake,
Mhm.
this is something I didn't know. I would have not expected this. They played in front of over 3,600 fans uh, just recently against Alabama, and just so you know, they beat the absolute brakes off of Alabama.
Yeah,
So big
the
time.
That
the
was
students will support teams. So they will support
it was
teams.
like a brew fest there at the soccer stadium.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, that is the only Arkansas school affiliated soccer team that the university has. It's only women's soccer. There is no men's.
Mhm.
There is a club through Arkansas that's a soccer club, but it's not technically school affiliated. Arkansas women's soccer is the
Yeah,
only.
and it's a beautiful facility. If it's
Oh,
the same facility, I remember growing up, we played in back in 2009. Whenever I was playing high school ball, we played the state championship game at Baum Stadium, and since then it's you don't play at Baum Stadium anymore. But the soccer state championship was going on around the same time, and they played on the soccer field there, right next to Bogle Park, where the softball team plays, and it is man, it's a wonderful facility for our team to be playing on. So um, yeah, super proud of the Razorback athletics as a whole is doing pretty well. Just got to get the football team on board now.
Yeah, got to get the moneymaker on board.
Yeah.
So, today we had a basketball commitment from four-star Isaiah Elohim. It's probably not how you pronounce it, but we're going to roll with that. He's the number 34 ranked player in the nation. He's also the 15th top 100 player Musselman has brought to Arkansas.
Yeah. Elohim, big size guy, small forward. I believe he stands at six. I want to say 6'5". I'm not 100% sure. Maybe 6'6". He's a big fella. Uh, I think you and I were talking about there was another kid that we were after by the name of Rakeese Passmore,
Mm-hmm.
and Passmore canceled his visit to Fayetteville, and he's going to be taking I guess, his final official visit to Kansas, and it looks like he's leaning towards Kansas. But my personal opinion is when we signed Elohim, when Passmore kind of decided that this wasn't going to be for him, and I told Blake that this was not the first time that Rakeese Passmore had canceled a visit after a big recruit had signed with a college. He did it with Miami when they signed one of their big 5-star recruit. He canceled his visit to Miami, and so my gut tells me that perhaps this guy just doesn't want competition. Maybe I'm wrong. But we got two small forwards signed in this class, two guys that a lot of colleges were high on recruiting wise. So big get for Coach Muss. He just keeps reeling them in, man. He knows how to bring in not only transfers, but he knows how to get big name guys out of these high schools.
Yeah, yeah. It's I wouldn't expect too many high school commits for this class because most of them lives in the transfer portal. So we'll might get one or two more, but after that, he kind of hits the transfer to find his team. So, so now the deal here's I told Ashton this. Recruiting it's kind of bad time for recruiting right now, especially with Arkansas not having any home games to see who's visiting for football or basketball. So as the weeks and months go on, we should have some more recruiting news to bring to you. So in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna go watch Warren play. So we'll see
I
how
know
how.
that Tay Lockett, one of our, I think it's 2026 class recruits that has committed to the Razorbacks, ended up talking a buddy of his into coming down to Arlington to watch the Razorbacks play. Wish he would have got a better result watching that
Yeah,
game, but at this point we're kind of at a standstill with recruiting. I think ultimately what we're trying to do right now is do whatever you got to do to keep the class together,
yeah,
win some games, keep some games close, be competitive. Don't look like you did against Texas A&M the other day. We got to keep this class together.
yeah. All right, going into the SEC, had a lot of conference games, so we're just going to kind of go in order. So Kentucky beat Florida 33-14. If you were watching the Arkansas game, they kept cutting in to give updates, and Kentucky was just kind of running all over Florida, which is what kind of Kentucky. That's what Kentucky's going to do this year is run the ball very well. They have a legit shot at winning the East, in my opinion. After seeing Georgia play a couple times, I'm not impressed with them at all. So, any thoughts on Kentucky and Florida?
I was kind of surprised by Kentucky, the way they were able to run the football against Florida. Uh, I was so surprised and impressed with the way Kentucky played offensively and defensively. That when we get to our picks, you'll see that I chose Kentucky to upset Georgia this weekend.
Mm.
That's a bold prediction, but Georgia has started out slow several times, and Kentucky, if they are able to jump up on Georgia, I think Kentucky could walk away with a victory if they stay consistent throughout the football game. So there's a little sneak peek into my pick for the Georgia Kentucky game. I got Kentucky winning, and Mark Stoops coming out the gate hot again. He's got his team at 5-0, ranked I think 20th in the country, and looking to do some more damage in the SEC.
Yep. Next was a game I did not think would be close at all. And Georgia defeats Auburn 27-20 behind Paxton Thorne's 82 yards
Peyton,
passing. Or
Peyton Thorne.
Peyton. I'm used to Peyton Thorne's 82 yards passing. He also ran the ball for 92 yards. He was the leading rusher as well. Just looking
Yeah,
at the stats, you would think they got blown out, but you know,
I said on our program last week that Auburn was hot garbage, and I said that fans would leave the stadium thinking that why did we hire Hugh Freeze, and I was completely wrong. Auburn came ready to play. I would say defensively they came ready to play.
mhm.
Offensively, Peyton Thorne hasn't done much all season long. So when Arkansas plays Auburn, it may be a heck of a game. I don't know, but I just I just think that Georgia should be winning games more than what they are winning games.
Yeah.
They don't start fast.
No, not at all.
They've started slow against basically
Mhm.
everybody. So if they do that against a better team, I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think they'll lose.
Yep.
So
All right. Mizzou defeated Vandy 38-21 at the construction site that is Vanderbilt Stadium. I don't know if you've
yeah,
seen the pictures. They're
yes,
legit
yes,
construction workers just
that
taking a
was
break,
so funny. Hey man,
watching a game.
props to those guys out there working hard, just doing their jobs. Okay, all right, could get hit in the head with a football. That's why they wear helmets.
You know, uh,
Yeah, Missouri did what everybody expected them to do. Vandy's just not very good. Vandy will put up points, but Vandy's just not good. And I mean, let's be real. Since James Franklin left and went to Penn State, Vandy's just hasn't been relevant.
yeah, Vandy's as we know, a tough place to win at for football. But they do look competitive though. I mean, like we said, they're going to sneak up on somebody and beat someone they're not supposed to. All right. Next was a very exciting game. Ole Miss 55, LSU 49. If you like offense, this was your game. It's back and forth. Had some big hits in the game. Daniels got popped. Ball went flying. It was, it was good to see some big hits in the game. But so we talked about Ole Miss a lot. LSU, they've got to turn it around quickly. Um, they still have an outside chance of winning the West, but can't lose anymore.
No, Brian Kelly. I mean, man, I don't know. He has so much talent at LSU, and every time I watch them play, I don't know. I don't know what team you're gonna. I can't believe defensively they're as bad as they are.
Yeah.
I was. They gave up a ton of points to us. They gave up a ton of points to Ole Miss, a ton of points to Florida State. They just can't stop anybody. They score a ton of points, but they can't stop anyone. So does LSU win the West? I don't think so. I think they lose at least one more
Yeah.
because of their defense, not because of their offense, Blake, but because of their
Yeah.
defense.
Next is Tennessee defeated South Carolina 41-20. I don't know if you watched any of this game. It's kind of late at night, probably past your bedtime. But
Yeah,
uh, anybody could have walked into Neyland Stadium and walk out with a defeat because that stadium was rocking. They were, Rocky Top was going. It was the dark mode, whatever they want to call it. Tennessee was hyped up. It was a revenge game for them for last year, and we talked about South Carolina. They go as Spencer Rattler goes, and he finally had a tough game, and we saw what happened.
yeah. Um, there's only one team in the SEC who's given up more sacks than the University of Arkansas, and that is the South Carolina Gamecocks. Um, Spencer Rattler's a good quarterback, but again, he's running for his life most plays. Plays don't get to develop the way they should. Uh, Beamer is having a tough time. He had a great run last year to end the season, but right now they're having a tough go of it. And I feel like Arkansas and South Carolina are in the same boat right now, where they thought things were going to go a lot differently than what has happened. And the only difference is South Carolina has scored more points. Um, well, and they play better competition than Arkansas.
Yeah, but
So
just kind of going back to Arkansas, would be nice to have Trey Knox right now as a tight end.
yeah, he's missed for sure.
He is missed, and Kendall Brawls might be missed too, but that's another. We'll save that for later. All right, last was Alabama 40, Mississippi State 17. Mississippi State's, they're going to struggle this year. So kind of expected outcome of this game.
Really makes you appreciate the way Mike Leach was able to scheme up offenses, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, he's missed.
Yeah. All right, gonna go to our pick'ems here. All right, so last week, Ashton did a little better. It's 3-4 overall in the SEC. I finished 5-2.
Uh,
So 12-3. If you're going with my picks, and you're using Bet Saracen or any kind of sports book, you probably up on some money right now. But so now we have some different picks this week. We agree on 2 games, so we'll get into the Tigers versus the Tigers. Okay, I'm going with the Drinkwitz Tigers. I think LSU is kind of down on themselves. It's on the road. Drinkwitz going to have his boys hyped up. It's probably the biggest game of his career because if he wins this, they have an outside chance of winning the West.
you
With
mean the
how
East?
the that's what I said.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
East. That's
yeah.
what I said. Yeah,
Right, right.
but yeah, I don't. I just if everyone's healthy and um, Cook is healthy, I think LSU's defense is not very good, so this could be a shootout like it was last week with Ole Miss. But
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the home team.
And that's fair. Good pick. Brady Cook could have a good game, and if he does, I think they'll beat LSU. But I'm going to go Tigers uh, for a rebound win this week.
Yeah, LSU they got they're always talented. I mean,
Yeah,
so much talent.
right.
They can win any week. All right, next, number 11, Alabama at Texas A&M.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going with Jimbo Fisher. I liked what I saw last week from their defense. Kind of KJ and Milrow might be kind of similar, so I feel like it's going to be a similar game plan for Texas A&M to try to defeat the Crimson Tide. Um, you know,
Right. Well,
so
I'm going Alabama only because they know how to run a quarterback sneak. And if it's 4th and 1, I trust that they can pick up a 4th and 1. But I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a very close game. Jimbo could walk away with a victory. Um, but I'm going with Alabama because I think they're more balanced offensively and defensively. So
yeah,
that's just my
yeah,
feeling.
I think
And
that's
then
it's going to
yeah,
be the
go
game of
ahead.
the week probably.
I think so.
It's
And
going to be
that
pretty
rolls
good.
us into the easiest game to pick of the week.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt at Florida, and
Mhm.
Florida. I think Vanderbilt scores points, but I got Florida winning by 21.
Yeah, if this was at Vanderbilt, I might consider picking Vandy because Florida struggles outside of Gainesville. So,
Right.
but they're at home. They should win. Should be pretty easy. All right. Now, next is interesting. We both got the number 1 team in the nation going down at the hands of Kentucky.
Mark Stoops, don't let us down now.
Yes.
I just haven't been super impressed with the quarterback play from Georgia. No, I mean, I know Brock Bowers at tight end for Georgia is a generational athlete or type of talent, but I'm just not super impressed. And Kentucky, don't fellas go in there and get business done.
Yeah,
Tough place to play, but it can happen.
it is. It is. If Kentucky gets off to a fast start, I think they can win because Georgia struggles. And then we've talked about Arkansas Ole Miss. We're
Hmm.
split on that, which we'll see. I texted my brother today. I said I'm probably gonna pick the Hogs to win. He called me crazy. So, all right, so we're gonna go to our national pick'em, which Ashton does better outside the SEC. He's 9-8
Yeah.
overall. Just 3 games back. We both finished 3-2 last week, and there's not. I mean, if you look at the slate of games, there you can say they're not good, but there's a lot of conference games that mean a lot to these teams. The national game of the week is number 12 Oklahoma versus number 3 Texas at the Cotton Bowl, the Texas State Fair. It's
Yeah.
always a last year was not very good to Oklahoma, but that was first year under Venables. So I'm going with, I don't like Texas a lot, but I am going with Texas just based off of they've played better competition up to this point. OU's played some okay teams, but I think Texas just has the better track record right now.
Right. And I'm going to go Dylan Gabriel at quarterback for OU and that resurgent defense of OU that was just obliterated last year
Mhm.
uh, with a team that didn't. I don't even think they made a bowl game last year at OU. And so I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they were 5-7, but I think this is a great OU team. Heck of a rebound year for Coach Venables, and I think OU's on the up and up, preparing to enter into the SEC.
All right,
And
so
that brings us to Notre Dame and Louisville.
yeah,
We both picked the road team here in Notre Dame. Louisville could just sneak up and surprise everybody out of nowhere, but I just think Notre Dame is just a more established team. They're tough. They played Ohio State super down to literally the last play.
yep,
So I just
yep,
I got Notre Dame winning
mhm,
on the road, but a good matchup. Good
yep,
matchup nonetheless.
yep. Next is number 24 Fresno State at Wyoming. I like Wyoming. I mean they beat Texas Tech and they played Texas pretty good, so they're a decent squad. So I'm just going to roll with Wyoming and hopefully they can beat a number 25 ranked team. So
See, I think Wyoming is hard nosed. They play tough football. They run in between the tackles. They're not scared against to play bigger teams, and they showed it by their record that they'll go play anybody. But I still have Fresno. Man, Fresno. I don't know what it is about Fresno State. They just seems like every year you go play NCAA football on any gaming system. Fresno State still scoring points. So I got Fresno State putting up some points, maybe giving up some points, but also putting up a lot of points as well.
and then last game is Maryland, who's undefeated, I believe, where Daniel Enos came from, uh, playing at Ohio State. I got number 4 Ohio State. I got them winning. I think the fairy tale for Maryland ends on Saturday. Ohio State's hard. It's a tough place to play at the Horseshoe. So,
Yeah.
but it should be a good game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout, but I always
I've
go.
uh, I've got Maryland in a miracle season. Uh, no email sent after this game by their offensive coordinator. I've got Maryland in a very close one, winning this football game, and I don't really don't think it's going to be as high scoring as people think it's going to be. But Maryland is ranked 30th, I believe, offensively. They were ranked 66th nationally last year under Dan Enos, so a whole 36 spots higher, I believe, with the new OC that they have. And hey, why not? This is my dark horse pick of the week: Maryland over Ohio State.
Yep. So let's just talk real quick nationally. Anything last week surprised you outside the SEC?
Um, No, not. Let me go back here, Blake, and look at the
Mhm.
scores from last week. I can't remember anything in particular that surprised me. Oregon State. Oregon State. I'm sorry, beating
Yeah,
Utah was a
Friday night.
surprise. And they manhandled Utah
Mhm.
defensively. So that was a big surprise to me. Kansas losing to Texas. Of course, their starting quarterback at Kansas is out, and he's probably going to be out again. I
Mhm.
think close game between Washington and Arizona. That was surprising.
Yeah.
USC and Colorado. Colorado
Yeah.
bounced back.
Yeah. They were down big and came back and had a chance to win, but
But
it's
after
been,
outside of that, not really anything
yeah.
surprising. It was a good game between Duke and Notre Dame. I really enjoyed that game. So
Yeah. A lot of
I
the
picked I picked Duke to win that game, but
yeah, yeah, it's close, but
yeah,
a lot of the experts are calling this separation Saturday because of all these conference games, and if you get
yeah.
two conference losses, you're kind of out of the conference race.
Hmm.
So we should see some separation. The college football playoff polls should be coming out in a couple weeks. So
Yeah,
looking
and
forward to that.
so I can't wait for that. And just a reminder to those who may watch us, who tune in, don't forget every Thursday night we have our Hogs Happy Hour. We generally try to start at 6 p.m. Please like the Facebook page, share our videos. Love to get as many viewers and watchers as possible.
Yeah,
Leave us comments. Love to hear your thoughts from an outside perspective on Razorback football or Razorback sports or national sports.
yeah,
Um, anything along those lines, leave us your comments. Love to talk about it, get everybody's perspective on things.
yeah. So we love ball. We're retired junior high coaches, so turn educators. Also, my students, if you watch this in class, I can't help you. Okay, I've had about 5 students come up to me saying they're watching this in class. So you need to take notes and study besides watching this. Okay, so all
But
right.
after
So for
school,
after school, yes, not on the school Wi-Fi, please. I don't. We don't want to get shut down.
yeah.
So for Ashton, I'm Blake. This has been the Hogs. Well, it's the Hogs happy in a half hour today. We got went a little long. Like we said, we had a lot to talk about earlier, but so looking forward to watching the Hogs and seeing if the improvements help out. So, any other words, Ashton?
Everybody have a good weekend. Get some rest and enjoy
Yes,
football.
and also it's a 3 day weekend, so go out, enjoy your time.
Have a good one,
All right,
guys.
so till next week.
See y'all.